Hey guys, it's Vince and Drew with the inaugural video for
Power 5 Fanatics.
our new channel.
Yeah, new college football and college sports in general channel.
It's football season. I know everybody's super excited, so are we. On this channel, we're going to talk about a lot of things college football related, mainly Power 5 conference, but it's going to be other teams, independents, and
Group of 5 as well.
yeah, Group of 5 as well.
Yeah.
We're going to do a lot of different things. We're going to do a weekly top 25, the Power 5 Fanatics top 25. We're going to do eliminations. We're going to do pick'ems against the spread. We're going to start off after this 5-day weekend we had, which was great. I know a lot of people we've been waiting for months, and it was here. And we kind of got a feel now a little bit about where the teams are at. So we're going to start off with the
top 25 as we see it for week 2.
That's right. Starting number 1, probably no surprise for most people.
The defending national champion Clemson Tigers took on Georgia Tech, and probably the first good game on Thursday night. Of course, they blew them out. ETN had a great day, 205 yards on the ground on
pretty much
17
everything
carries,
you would expect.
or 12 carries.
2, no surprise here either.
Alabama.
Struggled a little bit, especially in the first half, and then just too much.
Yeah, turn it on. They have the depth, they have the players, they have the coaching, they have the pedigree.
Yeah. Didn't run the ball very good, though. That was kind of strange. I think they only averaged, 3.5 yards a carry. So that was a little concerning. But, they got some time to work the kinks out.
Yeah.
3, again, probably not a big surprise here.
Georgia Bulldogs, beat Vandy this week, kind of the way they were supposed to beat Vandy.
Yeah. No big surprise there either. Number 4, this actually changed on mine. I didn't have them here last when I was doing the week 0 initial one, but Oklahoma, I think I had to move them up. Pretty sad. I can't spell Oklahoma.
There you go.
That's probably the easiest state I could possibly spell. Anyway, hey, what can you say?
I mean, kind of as you
Jalen Hurts.
I mean, Jalen Hurts came out on fire.
He really
like
did.
Every other Lincoln Riley quarterback there is. Defense played good in the beginning. I really like Kenneth Murray. The way he started that game off, he was firing off to the ball, finding head hunting, not missing tackles. And
Hurts,
and the offense looked great.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be more running with Hurts, which we kind of thought, but which I wouldn't say they would want long term. But hey, that's how the guy plays, and he's a gamer, and he played great.
He's not like Kyler Murray. He's more of a run between the tackles, guards kind of guy. But yeah, he was able to find some yardage on the ground.
And he's bigger too, so he's a little harder to bring down. 5, Michigan, which I like Michigan a lot. I'm a Michigan fan. I just think they're kind of set up this year to do some great things.
Yeah,
and they were a little bit. They played Middle Tennessee State, and it was not as smooth as you'd probably want if you're a big Wolverine fan, but they got it done. And what else can you say? LSU, I thought, was one of the biggest.
They just had a great performance.
I wouldn't say surprise, but in a way it was because mainly because their quarterback played great. Their defense we knew was going to be good, and they just tore them up.
Joe Burrow, he just really played great. He really impressed me on Saturday, and the defense. Grant Delpit, Jacob Phillips, some of those guys over there, Chase On, those guys were just playing fantastic.
It really sets it up for the biggest game of the weekend.
We think they're going to have a pretty big year this year. So
LSU UT Saturday, I believe it's 6 o'clock.
6:30, I believe.
6:30 Central. It's good. That's the big game of the week.
Yep.
Okay, next we got Ohio State.
Yeah, and they just got off. The big storyline going into the Ohio State game versus FAU was how's Justin Fields going to look, and
looked pretty good.
Right out the gate, he has a 54-yard, or maybe
I guess you shouldn't be surprised because how often does an Ohio State quarterback, there's questions, and he goes out, and it's just like they just plug him in.
Yeah, and I think they scored like 28 points. And
outside of Oklahoma, I'd say they're the most impressive program recently in the last 10 years or so as far as just plugging new quarterbacks
And definitely one of the more talented. I mean, having lost, Bosa in the offseason and Dwayne Haskins both in the first round, they were able to replace those guys. I mean, as far as what we've seen so far with some great talent, Chase Young's still there. And Justin Fields obviously looks like he's going to step in.
Florida Atlantic really didn't have a chance in that one. Next, we got UT.
University of Texas, not Tennessee.
And they really took care of Law Tech. And, some people were kind of, hold on one sec. Let's don't get ahead of ourselves with Texas this year. As far as we're back, well, I think they are definitely back. And La Tech was a solid program, and they really just had their way.
Yeah, you could, they got a lot of those, high-rated DBs, and they ran a lot of the 3 down linemen, 8 defensive back type of schemes, and their defense was fast. They had some interceptions.
Ellinger looked excellent.
Linebackers looked good. The Ellingers looked good. The wide receivers looked
definitely
great.
in the Heisman Trophy.
And the O-line looked really good as well. So they look to be here to stay. But we'll see. Louisiana Tech is not what you'd call a powerhouse, but it was a very impressive performance by the Longhorns.
Notre Dame, look, they didn't do anything to make me think they needed to move out of the top 10 last night. Started a little iffy, but a lot of games started a little iffy, and just their talent took over.
Yeah.
Their defensive line looked really good, getting after the quarterback. Even though Louisville has some great athletes,
and they had
their running back and their quarterback. I mean, the guys can run, but their defensive line looked pretty good. Their front seven did.
Yeah, it did, and they gave up a lot of yards on the ground in the first half. But you got to give it to Scott Satterfield and Louisville. I mean, they looked really good.
They did.
We'll see how good they
I
really are.
thought that it was going to be an upset. Of course,
yeah,
a lot of people
but
did.
then in the second half, they started to pull away, and we started to see that talent differential. So
we got Florida at 10. Look, it was ugly against the Hurricanes last week. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sacks, a lot of mistakes, but they still got it done. And, and what else can you say?
Yeah, a lot of emotions in that game.
I think they definitely still belong in the top 10, and they are in the Power 5 Fanatics top 10.
And we'll see. Miami could end up being a really good team. I mean, they got a lot of excitement with Manny Diaz.
Very favorable schedule.
And I thought Jaron Williams looked pretty good as well. So we got Florida at 10.
Okay, here comes the Pac-12. And, the Pac-12, it's going to be interesting this year because it looks like they finally have some teams that can make some noise.
Yeah.
It's hard to decide which one should be, the top team. We went with Washington, but Utah is a real close second.
Yeah.
And Oregon, hey, they're still a good program. They stumbled, but they still have everything in front of them, and I wouldn't count them out. I mean, they're basically have to win out at this point, but Herbert looked really good.
Yeah,
I thought he played pretty decent. It's just the Auburn quarterback
defense and their freshman quarterback.
Yeah,
but
going back to Washington,
they
played who did they play? It was Eastern Washington, and they just looked dominating.
And I think to go back to the Pac-12 in general, we picked Washington. They're kind of the more proven commodity. They got Chris Peterson. They got Jacob Eason, the 5-star quarterback.
And he played really well also.
He played really good. They're always going to have a pretty good disciplined O-line and defense. And as of right now, I mean, I would not be surprised if Utah does end up winning the Pac-12. But right now, I'd have to put my chips in on Washington.
Yeah, we got the one with the proven commodities,
but
like you said.
That game later in the year is going to be very interesting to me when they play Utah. So we'll see how all that pans out as the season progresses down the road.
Penn State, Happy Valley was rocking. They looked very dominating. I know it was Idaho, but they did what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean 79-7 or whatever it was. I mean it was name the score. I mean that's kind of what it turned into.
Yeah, that's what it turned into.
The offense surprised me. They had some turmoil in the offseason with some different guys transferring out. They lost their starter who they thought was going to start at quarterback, so they got a newer guy in there. But I felt like the offense really didn't miss a beat, at least against Idaho. So we'll see how that progresses on throughout the season as well.
Now we put Utah in. I thought their win against BYU looked really good because I think BYU is a pretty decent
and
team this year.
On the road, it's a huge rivalry, underrated rivalry in my opinion.
I thought they looked very impressive, Utah. That's why we got them there. They're probably higher on ours than they would be. I don't know where the AP poll ended up today, where Utah is, but I think they deserve it. Yeah. And then we got Auburn, who we were just talking about a while ago, and they're who was it? Nix. Their
Bo Nix was
their freshman quarterback. I mean, the guy played great.
He had some great plays in there. He for a true freshman who's never played in a collegiate game, I thought he played really well. I felt like he had a good head on his shoulders in that game.
And he had those terrific plays at the end of the game.
Yeah, he had some big plays, some heroic plays. He had kind of a low, completion accuracy percentage there, but
just his first game and
some big plays. And
he was playing a big time program.
And it was a big time program, and so good, fast defensive players on that Oregon team, and they proved, in our opinion, that they should be a top 15 team.
All right, the Aggies are moving in. They're in the top 15 on ours, and we're going to know a whole lot more about the Texas Aggies after they play Clemson this week.
Yep.
We'll know a whole lot more. But they played Texas State, the Bobcats, and did what they needed to do. I can't remember what the score was. Was it 50 something?
I think it was 41-7. But
which is good enough for me.
Kellen Mond threw some great throws, some great passes. I thought their defense played pretty good, and they, the wide receivers are great. I like Courtney. Is it Courtney Davis or whatever his name is? I really like him at receiver. And I think they're going to have to prove a lot this weekend going against Clemson, but they have the opportunity to prove that. So if they can win that, they'll be moving up the polls a little bit in my eyes.
16, Michigan State, maybe the best defense, or at least front seven in the nation right now. They totally destroyed Tulsa's running game.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw the box score on that, but I'm pretty sure it was minus 73 yards rushing in that game, which
had a couple safeties.
Which is hard to do. Now, part of it, I think there was a couple missed snaps.
There was.
Put the negative yard, but still, their leading rusher, I believe he had 6 or 7 carries for 0 yards. Mm-hmm. So those guys are for real. I don't know if they got enough to get it done in the Big Ten against Michigan and Ohio State, or even Penn State. But I know one thing: they're going to give people fits. That defense is. And,
I was very impressed.
The score-wise, it didn't look like they beat them. I think it was 28-7.
28-7 Tulsa. Yeah.
But they basically had no chance, Tulsa.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with Willekes on the defense.
They look like an NFL defense.
Willekes looked like a menace. Flat out. They got some good linebackers. The only deal with Michigan State, I'm a little bit hesitant on them, is their offense. I just don't know if they're going to be able to generate a lot of yardage and a lot of offensive production. But their defense was very solid, and I think it could help them win a lot of games.
We got our first group of 5 program, UCF, and most people would have them. I don't know if the AP has, but I think they definitely have them as the only representative in the top 25 of group of 5, unless they got Boise State maybe.
In Cincinnati, I believe.
In Cincinnati, yeah. But I think they're definitely the best. They played Florida A&M. I know that's not exactly that big of a test for them, but they pulled it off and they looked very good.
And they had some turnover over the offseason, losing their quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, and they got in the transfer from Notre Dame. I thought he played really good. I think he had 4 touchdowns, or maybe a little bit more, but he had a good game. UCF should be a wrecking force in that group of 5 division.
We got Oregon, the only 0-1 team in our top 25. Yep. But what else can you say? I think they're still good. I think they're going to be vying for the Pac-12 title without a doubt.
Unfortunate for them that they lost their first game of the season.
But we think they belong in the top 20. So
yeah.
Got Wisconsin next, which I was very impressed with them. Maybe outside of LSU, I might have been most impressed with Wisconsin. I knew they had a great running back, but everything was clicking for them.
Well, just the fact that they were able to go on the road, and you know, it wasn't a Group of 5 team. They beat USF, Charlie Strong's squad, down in Florida, but it was
they
humid.
blanked them.
It was the first game of the season.
It was a skunk.
You know, and I thought
was it 45-0?
49-0, and I thought Jonathan Taylor looked like a Heisman type of contender. You know, similar to Etienne. He looked fantastic. The defense was dominant. I mean, they looked very good.
Yeah, I thought they were one of the more impressive teams. Yeah. Maybe the most impressive team.
Probably was the most impressive win. Yeah.
20, we got another Big Ten, Iowa. And they're kind of, you know, in that group in the Big Ten where, okay, sure, they got a shot, but, you know, are they really going to be able to win the conference? I don't know. But you got to include them because they looked really good against Miami of Ohio.
You know, Iowa's, like Vince was saying, they're one of those Big Ten West teams kind of vying for that opportunity to maybe win that wide open division of the Big Ten. And they're kind of one of those teams that they're just so consistent year in and year out.
Yeah, they really are.
Kirk Ferentz's got a great program up there. You know, they just developed 2 first-round tight ends, and they're having to fill those spots from those guys.
Yeah, the problem is they're just in a tough conference, which honestly right now, in my opinion, the Big Ten is the best conference. The SEC fans aren't going to like that, but that's what I think.
Top to bottom, I mean, that middle to lower tier of the Big Ten is very solid.
Yeah, there's really nobody weak outside of.
You know, Purdue lost to Nevada and Northwestern lost to Stanford, but you know, you look at what Penn State did.
Illinois,
yeah, I mean,
Maryland looked great, but Maryland would definitely be a candidate. I'm telling you, if they keep playing like that, they're going to be in the top 25 real fast. Yep. But enough of the Big Ten because we're moving on to Cincinnati.
Yep. Our second Group of 5 team. You know, some would argue maybe they didn't play the best team as far as Group of 5 or Power 5 standards with UCLA.
Yeah.
But it was the second year under
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Hey, man, they just shut him out. I mean, I think UCLA's offense only had, 160 yards passing. So,
yeah.
And it is Chip Kelly.
And Chip Kelly, known as an offensive mind, you know, that's why they hired him. That was they beat
That's why we think they belong in the top 25.
24-14. It was a good win for Cincinnati. So we got them as the second Group of 5 team on our top 25 as we see it.
Washington State, back to the Pac-12. Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Just keeps rolling with the quarterbacks. Of course, he's been doing that for the last 20 years.
Yep.
And I think he's been very fortunate lately because it seems like the quarterbacks he's getting are even better than the ones he had at Texas Tech. And he's getting better at recruiting quarterbacks. He's always been good. And, man, you talk about plug him in. You got a guy every week who's going to get you 4 to 450 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
I know the defense is iffy at times, but – hey, I got to give it to you. I got to give it to Leach.
Mike Leach has really got a program going up there. You know, like Vince was saying, they got a quarterback. I believe he transferred him from Eastern Washington last year, and he has some kind of record in his.
He looked terrific.
I mean, he looked fantastic, and it's just typical Mike Leach offense. And I think their defense is going to be a little bit better this year.
I think lately he's upped his game up. Mike Leach has.
Number 23, we got Syracuse.
Which I've been very impressed with them. They play. I think this is honestly. I think it's the game of the week. I mean, UT LSU. I mean, it's hard to knock that, or A&M Clemson, but I believe Syracuse plays Maryland.
I believe so. And you're talking about some of these, you know, mixing up some of these lower top 25 teams. You know, the winner of that game is deserving to be.
Oh,
in this
definitely.
Top 25.
And both of them look so great. And then, you know. Maryland's offense is out of this world, and Syracuse just across they're solid. And
Dino Babers has really turned that into a great program.
I think it's like the game of the week. I'm really excited for that one. I don't know what the line is yet. I haven't seen it, but
I believe it's Syracuse 1.5 or something like that.
There you go.
As you can clearly tell, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it as a college.
I think they
fan.
belong here, top 25.
They're a very good program.
back to the Pac-12, which there's a lot of them in the Pac-12 this year.
We got Stanford, and this was a team that I didn't
Yeah,
originally.
it was the battle of the eggheads, Stanford and Northwestern, and the higher IQs won, I guess, Stanford. But they really did wear out Northwestern.
And this was a team that I didn't have in my top 25 prior to this week, but it was a defensive slugfest, them and Northwestern, and the grittier team won, and this week it's Stanford, and that's why we believe that they should be in the top 25, and if they can keep rolling, I believe they play, is it USC this week, and if they keep rolling, USC didn't look great. They lost their quarterback, but if they keep rolling, they can keep.
Boise State, our third group of five team. Is it third? Yeah, we got
third boy. Yeah.
UCF. We got Cincinnati, Boise State, and I really fought to put those guys on there, and Drew finally agreed with me.
They were definitely on.
I know they only have a freshman quarterback, which kind of makes it a little bit iffy on what they're going to be able to do long term. But the kid looked really good.
Yep.
And
played in a hostile environment at Florida State.
And Florida State,
humidity.
Gosh,
it's a hard place to play.
What a bad way to begin their season. I mean, I think they were up 31 to
19.
Yeah. Well, the problem they had in the first. Yeah, the problem that Florida State had is they had these long touchdown plays. Okay, they really weren't even drives, and I think they had 4 long ones in the first half, but they converted no third downs. Okay,
yeah.
and then they got to the second half. Actually, I think they converted 1 maybe in the first half. You get the second half, they didn't convert any, and I think they had like 7 or 8. I don't know how many 3-and-outs had in the second half, but basically it turned out I think they were 1 of 12 on third down. So they lost. That's how they lost.
Yeah, and they had an opportunity to kind of score there at the end. I think they were down, or was it 31 to 36 or something like that. They had the opportunity to score, and then Florida State fumbles the ball. But we're going to go ahead and give it to Boise State because it's,
they got
like
it done,
we were
man.
saying, it's a tough place to play. It's a hostile environment. Of course, tons of tradition there at Florida State, and the fans are rabid, and they got it done, and with a freshman quarterback, and I thought their team played really well.
Well, guys, that wraps up Power 5 Fanatics first video, okay, and our first top 25
for week 2.
Week 2 of 2019. We're excited about many more weeks of football coming up, and we're going to be talking to you guys. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, share. We'll see you next time.
And make sure to hit that bell button if you're interested and you liked our videos and you'd like to see when we go post any more videos in the future. Thanks, guys.